and welcome to another edition of The One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
Um,
Is there pain, sadness?
yeah.
Do you feel sadness inside?
Um, I think I'm just numb. Yeah. Um, oh, the song I was playing after the conclusion of the game last night was Dead Inside by Muse.
Yes.
Dead Inside. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last night was a reminder of this is the 2024 Philadelphia Union. And regardless, we're 2/3 of the way through the season. Got 11 games left, and I hate to say it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So here we are, how quickly we plummeted from the joy of being the last undefeated team in MLS. Doesn't that seem like eons ago?
Last undefeated away team in
And last,
MLS.
yep.
There was a lot of things we could say the last things of it. It started out so good.
It started out so good, and then my brother and his girlfriend had to leave
Okay, we're
the
gonna start blaming people.
game. No, it started going downhill from RSL, and they had to leave the
Union
game.
Sports opened.
Yeah,
But anyway,
we get going on. It's just a joke.
it is a joke. Before we get started today, we're going to talk about your interview with Alejandra Bedoya.
Yep.
We're going to do some observations from the first team practice that you attended this week. Gives the fans some insight.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the Union 2's 2-1,
3-1.
3-1 victory over Chattanooga.
Yes.
Some Kevin Sullivan news that
Yes.
has made its rounds recently. SOB questionnaire, and we'll finish up with looking at the upcoming week and also discuss the Union versus Toronto FC game last night. Share a couple comments with that. But before we get started, what are we wearing today?
Well, I'm wearing my black Phillies t-shirt that is Bryce Harper on the back and my Phillies headband. I went with black and gray here because all color has left my soul, I think. But yeah, I'm in mourning. No, I actually just like wearing black. But
Yes.
yeah, I just felt like wearing Phillies today. And I thought, hey, I could at least enjoy the Phillies today. And then they lost 18-3 to the A's, who are terrible. And it was a bullpen game and it was really bad. And I'm sorry, Polomy, but you are banned from going to Phillies games. Okay.
Well,
Love you, but you're banned.
I mean, there it is, folks. It's official. Pullman is banned from Phillies games moving forward. Thank you very much, Jillian.
Yeah, that was a terrible game.
That was a terrible game.
Terrible.
And do we blame Pullman for that?
Um
Yes. Yes. The
I
question is
blame that
yes.
it was a bullpen game and terrible, but I don't know. When you have to have Garrett Stubbs pitch in the ninth inning, yeah, it's not good.
Not good.
We sweep the Dodgers and then we do that nonsense. So make it make sense.
Such as baseball.
Such as baseball.
But anyway, I'm wearing I will burn this place down t-shirt.
Yeah, show that
with a
with the record.
raccoon.
So yeah, and we mentioned that before. I think we showed it when we got that in Vegas.
I was gonna wear this to the Charlotte game, and
Then you got sick.
then I got sick. So
Taking all
yes,
those
wearing this
L's.
game, and I will wear this now until the Union get a victory. That's my statement there. But anyway, where can people find us?
So we are on social media at the One Team We Agree on Instagram and Facebook. We're on Twitter at TOTWAG. We have our YouTube, The One Team We Agree On. Our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. You can find us on our personal Twitter accounts. I'm at silly_Jilly. Kyle's at Coach Almany. And I have a TikTok, which I plan to update shortly. Jillian_Almany or hyphen Almany. You can find it, whatever.
Yeah, let's get into it. So on Thursday, it's Thursday. You went down to Union practice for the press conference, but you were able to attend and speak with Alejandra Bedoya.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I attended practice. I was there, of course, just for the part that the media can attend, and it was the end of practice. And thankfully, I came earlier this time because the last time I tried to attend when it was so hot out, they ended early before the media could actually really attend. So I was able to see more of it this time. And it was very promising, by the way, to see Mikel Ua and Jesus Bueno out there in the field training. and also Andre Blake was on the sideline kind of, because he was wrapping up with what he was doing, and then he went off with the trainers. But, it was really good to see him back, and he looked in all good spirits and everything, and just, and the team seemed like they were, definitely ready to go and everything. So it was good to see that. Side note, I mean, the jackhammering and stuff that was going on right next to the field. Ooh, that was loud and
Yeah.
distracting. But yeah, so I talked to Alejandro Bedoya.
Mhm.
First of all, fantastic person to talk to. I mean, I think everyone knows that.
Yeah.
He's great, but very approachable and everything, and a good leader to the team, as we all know. So, yeah, I talked to Ale, asked him a few questions, and I think we have those share with you.
Yeah, so let's get into it a little bit here. So we got a couple questions. First question we got going on is what his message to the fans are. I mean, we know about the protests. We've talked about this. So um
And I understand if you can't comment too much on this one,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you've always been close to the fans, and I'm sure you've seen the supporters protests and all that. Just curious on your thoughts on all that, and if you think the team needs help moving forward, and if you have any messages to the fans.
No, I mean the only thing I have for the fans is to stick with the players, right? I think that's the most important thing. I've always said they're like our 12th man, and there's been so many instances throughout the years I've been here where the fans really have helped push us forward. The most clear one was against Red Bull at home in the playoff game when we were down, I think 3-1 at halftime or something like that. And the fans let us have it, but they also got behind us, and that really helped propel us to our first playoff victory, right?
Yeah.
So just even during tough moments, I know the real fans are going to stick behind the players. So, and I understand the frustration. Fans are passionate. That's what I love about Philly sports teams in general. So I didn't expect nothing less, but at the same time, I can understand their frustration. And trust me, as much as they're frustrated, we are as well. We are just 2 years removed from almost Cup final, and as players, we're the ultimate competitors, and I want to win. I'm an ambitious person. I'm here to win. I play to win, and I play to keep playing, at the top. So just that, I understand the fans. I'm with them, and I hope they keep sticking through our players, because that's the most important thing. The rest of the stuff, that's out of my control, really.
Right.
But a lot of guys have been on record. I've been on record in the past for, various reasons, and I'm just here to do the best I can to make sure that, we're prepared in every game that I'm a part of, and that we get back to winning ways, because we do still have a core of a team that is can compete with anybody in the league.
So, a couple things there. He talks about the fan base being the 12th man.
Right.
That's the first thing. And he's right. The second thing is, he talks about supporting the players, talks about, also the frustration. They're frustrated too. They want to win. He, being the captain,
Mhm.
being around for being a vet, he knows how to answer these questions. He's been
Right.
asked them before. He's gone on record. He said other players have gone on record. We've heard them. We've discussed them. So yeah, players are letting their voices be known.
Yeah, and I had also asked him about how it was to be back after missing time, and
Hmm.
he was really glad to be back. He wants to be in there, and we all know he's tough. He's a competitor, and he wants to be in there and helping the team. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for course. He's a competitor. At the end of the day, he even says that in that quote. The thing that really stuck out to me is, very professional,
Mhm.
very, knows what he wants to say, has been here before. But, let's not leave the elephant in the room, without saying, he says the team needs to do better. The team also needs to upgrade. That's what I
Yeah.
get from it.
Yeah. So, of course, we don't want anyone to get in trouble or anything either.
Right.
So, so that's, we worded it very carefully. But yeah, that's the thing. He gets it. And also, and we also know Jim, they get it. Like,
Hmm.
if you're not doing well, yeah, the fans are going to let you hear it. But hey, that's Philly. And, they get that, you
Right.
know? So, you see that in the other sports too. And the players that don't get that, well, they don't last in Philly. But
Nope.
honestly, if you go and play your butt off and give everything you have, and you're not a jerk or anything, Philly's going to respect you, And I think that's a big reason why, for the most part, the fans aren't really blaming the players so much,
Yeah.
or even Jim. I mean, yeah, you have people placing some blame there, but
Shout out to Todd last night. If you listened to his rant
mhm,
and your rant last episode, I mean,
mhm,
let's be honest. I mean, it's not on Jim. I
yeah.
mean, what are you gonna do? Not to, we'll talk about it, but yeah.
Who are you
But,
going to sub in when you really don't have very many options?
but anyway, we got
Yeah,
digress.
we've been through all that. So, I mean, yeah, so I appreciate Allie's comments there. Um, and on a more positive note too, we wanted to talk to him about Jack McGlynn and Nate Harriel being called onto the Olympic team, which is super exciting and
So
big honor for them. And of course, Allie has experience with the national team. And so I asked him about um, any advice he's given Nate and Jack when he's talked to, and also Paxton, mentioned Paxton,
mhm.
and also Quinn Sullivan, because some the development of Jack McGlynn and Nate Harriel from homegrown to now representing the U.S. at the Olympics. First, talk about how big that is for the club, having 2 and then 3 if you count Paxton on the roster. And any words of advice for them?
Yeah, look, I've seen them come through the ranks, if you will, obviously. So it's been awesome. I sit literally right between them in the locker room. Jack McGlynn, I've got a relationship with Nate as well, a great relationship. Paxton I keep in touch with, from far, even with his brother. So just to see him, continue to grow and get better in different ways, right? Because we all know about Jack's sweet left foot, but I think all these guys can have room for improvement, right? Jack maybe on the defensive side, tactical part of the game. Nate more on the offensive side of things, getting more involved in the offense. And Paxton, has gone through some tough times, right? Playing time in Europe. So, everybody, all us players need to go through adversity and be resilient. And this is just another step in their development, right? Olympics, a chance of a lifetime, really, where, some of the best athletes are a part of this. And just the only advice I have for them is just to soak everything about this experience in. I look back at my career and different instances where maybe I didn't maybe soak in everything that is around it and realize the magnitude of the occasion, right? In terms of like, wow, like they're going to be competing in the Olympics. So, I texted them right before they left and just gave them a nice little message about just make sure you enjoy it the most. Don't get stuck on putting too much pressure on yourselves. You're there for a reason. You belong, and just compete and do your best and have fun. Enjoy it. That's what it's all about.
All right. So yeah, that was what Ali's message was. Yeah, and again, just compete, have fun,
Mhm.
but also just like you said, seeing him go up through the ranks, the opportunity for him. And Jim said best in his press conference too, after the Red Bulls game. These are players that if they, and we've seen it in the past, players come out, they play well, and they get sold. And there's a really good chance, this might be the end of Jack McGlynn. I do kind of agree with Jose Nunez, who said post game that maybe Harrell stays around a little bit longer, but again, his rise has been very quick.
It has. It's really been cool to see his development too, because
I think both of them
yeah,
have really had a solid year. I mean,
they have.
we saw it last night. The team wasn't the same without Jack spraying balls around.
Really wasn't.
It really, really
We all
wasn't.
knew this was coming too.
We did, but that's beyond the point. The point is, the team misses them right now, and I think I think there's some, again, opportunities for growth from some of these other players that don't get a chance. But at the same time, you gotta be happy for, Jack and Nate. They've been playing great. Statistically, both having very good seasons. So, I mean, I have them on my top 3 right now of most improved.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been great to also see both of them. And I will say, probably more so, Jack McGlynn, I think, has gotten even more notice. Probably I've seen a lot of praise from people outside of the union sphere, if you will. People just saying, wow, this kid's really got some good stuff, and he's one to watch. And also, obviously, Nate's gonna, I think, be tremendous as well. I'm really just excited for them. I'm excited for their families to go experience that
Yep.
as well. So, so I think that's tremendous and representing the US, representing the union, and, just making everyone proud.
Right. And so put a bow on that. Just any other observations?
Um, you know, I will say this. So, I mean, this full disclosure, this was my first time actually going to a union first team training.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was really cool because, as most of you know, doing this is not my main gig.
It's
Okay.
not
It's not my day job.
a
And
lot of us. It's
yeah, a
not.
lot. So normally I can't attend these things because I'm at work. So it was really cool to attend this, and I appreciate how, you know, um, nice the players were, and just very approachable, and they all say hello and everything, and Jim comes over and everything. And so, I just appreciated that. And yeah, and then I attended, well, virtually attended the press conference since it wasn't an in-person one really on that particular day. But
Yeah.
I did hang out in the power plant cafe though for a while. So that was a suggestion from Erica, so thanks Erica. But yeah, and then busied myself writing an article, which you guys can all see on theoneteamweagreeon.com. I put all the um, Alejandro Bedoya stuff into an article. That's one of my most recent articles. So check that out. But you know, so Starbucks for the win because I had some time to kill.
Yes, yes, you
So
did.
and get out of the heat a little bit. But yeah, and then after that we met up and we went to the Union 2 game.
Yeah, so let's dive into that. Union beat Chattanooga
Yeah.
3-1. I mean, first and foremost, that first goal, great pass. Eddie Davis runs on, hits the ball. Marlon
Mhm.
talked about that in his post-game presser with us. That probably one of the nicest balls he's ever seen, and nice setup and finishes. And it was. So Union bounced up to an early 1-0 lead.
Yes.
And then, here comes Chattanooga. And the whole first half, they were really, and we'll get to the comment, but really were countering the Union. Turnovers, putting pressure on them. And Marlon said it. I mean, team versus 18 versus one of the oldest teams in the
Yeah,
league.
so let's pause a second. So Chattanooga is like
And
they're an
yeah,
unaffiliated team. Like so they're not like a feeder into an MLS team. So
they're a lot older.
their keeper is 30 years old.
Yeah, we
And
talked about
and we're
that.
watching this and we're like the one defender, I'm like, that's a grown ass man.
It was a grown-ass
Like-
man, and when he took out that player, it was like, wow,
Like,
30-year-old.
that is a child abuse right there. No.
No,
But no, in all seriousness though, I'm like, these are like grown men here versus like a bunch of kids. I mean, and as Marlon had said, this is the Union 2 are I believe the youngest squad, like average age in
It
MLS
is.
Next Pro.
So, I mean, they give up, Union 2 give up that set piece goal on a header, and that's just a physical play. And so,
Yeah.
let's dive in. Marlon shares his comments here.
Yeah.
Roll that clip up here and get to it. And he just shares his thoughts on the first half here.
Chattanooga first half seemed like they were really hitting you hard on the counter at times, and then second half it seems like you guys kind of upped the game. Was there any discussion at halftime about adjustments? And so,
absolutely. We played fantastic in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Scored an absolutely brilliant goal. It might be the best goal I think I've seen a Union 2 team score. And then we stopped doing what we wanted to do. We let their mid block kind of slow us down. We stopped breaking lines, and in the second half we got back to it. And even the action that gets the goalkeeper sent off was more of what we wanted to do. We wanted to play forward in our green zone and kind of attack from there. But after the first 10 minutes, we started just playing the ball in the back, side to side, and allowed them to set us up with quick counters. So, so we got after them a little bit at halftime, fixed what was wrong, and then did a lot better in the second half.
So, yeah, I mean, he does it right there. First half, mids were blocking, they weren't getting the through balls, line splitting passes, and when you do that, both first and second team, that's equal success. I think on the second half, what we saw in the second half was Union come out much more energized. Number one, they were
Mhm.
doing what they wanted to do. They were much more disciplined. Chattanooga being an older team, and again, they're an independent team. You can see the quality of subs coming on. Now, Chattanooga's still top 4 in, well, I don't know. They might have fallen off. But anyway, early in the season, they were number 1, number 2.
Yeah.
Now behind the Union Red Bull early on. So they're a good team. That being said, and defensively, they're pretty good. But second half, Cavan gets that nice goal.
Yeah, that was Cavan's first home goal, so that was exciting.
That was exciting. 2 goals in 2 games. And then you had Leandro Soria come on, run on that ball. Nice, really good. Just follow up, heads up play to get that ball in the back of the net. You have the keeper, like you said, being sent off, so they're in their backup keeper, and the Union just kind of shut it down in the second half.
Yeah, they did what they needed to do, and
Yeah.
it's really nice play from them. I mean, honestly, um, they're fun to watch. Let's be
Yeah, let's
honest.
talk about that real quick because we covered people have said this to us before, you guys are covering the Union too a lot, and we do. And I'll say to anybody out there listening that right now may be frustrated with the first team.
Yeah.
Just like, oh man, we're gonna go to a game, maybe they're gonna lose. Maybe your confidence isn't high.
Yeah.
That's fine. We get it. That being said, if you want kind of understand why you love Union, why you love this team, why you still support the team and the players, go check out Union 2 game. They're fun. The Bridge Brigade is doing a really nice job. It's a fun time. It's a laid back atmosphere. Yeah, people are like, well, it's not loud. You don't have the chanting as much.
It's way
You
less
do.
stressful to watch.
It's less stressful to watch, and it's kind of just fun, laid back atmosphere. Um, and I'll be honest with you, they're fun to watch on the field, and they're doing this with 16, 17, 18-year-old players playing against people that are first team players, internationals,
Mhm.
international roster spots on other teams, and they're doing that. Now the Union have that too, and that's a whole other discussion about our recent signings. We'll get we can
Yeah.
argue that.
Yeah.
Having said that, they are fun to watch,
Yeah.
and if you kind of want to get your faith restored a little bit, or at least just get that energy back in you, go watch YouTube. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It definitely is kind of the um well, between them and the Phillies, it's giving me stuff to actually be really excited about.
Right.
I mean, I haven't given up on the Union, the
No.
first team. I mean, I still support them, but
Yeah,
let's be honest, it's not been as enjoyable. But um it's definitely neat to see these guys developing and really finding themselves. And I appreciate the job that Marlon LeBlanc is doing with them. And it's just, you know, I don't know, like, get yourself to a game and experience it for yourself. Of course, and props to the people that went on Thursday because of a dental event that was going on Friday at Subaru Park, and they were using the concourse. They were going to do these dental exams and things for a whole bunch of kids because it's with a sponsor, like partner with them. Anyway, so they closed off the normal side that everyone sits on, which is the side the press box and everything is on. So they closed that off for fans and had them sit on the other side, and it was in the direct sun, and it was hot, so, I mean, it wasn't as bad as some days, but yeah, they were in the direct sun, but they still brought it.
Yeah.
And, also props to the Bridge Brigade guys. I liked how they made, like, a 2 next to
Yeah.
where it says Union on the
That was
seat.
fun.
That was cool, and of course, they did their chants and everything, so that's great. But yeah, you guys gotta check it out if you haven't been there. You can get very cheap tickets, and you get a few included if you have season tickets. So check it out. Their next home game isn't until I think August 2nd, so it's a little bit of time. But they'll have some games that'll be that are away that you can watch. But yeah, definitely a good thing to get out to. And I always see, there's always a lot of youth teams that come to watch, which I think it's good. I get to partake in that.
So, Gavin has the second goal of the season. So, we asked Marlon, his thoughts. Is he developing at the MLS Next Pro level.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people talking about,
About-
is he going to get on the first team?
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
So Cavan's had a goal in 2 straight games. Do you feel he's starting to adapt to MLS Next Pro level?
I'll give you the bleep version of what I just said to him. I said, I wish he would have scored 5 or 6 today so I wouldn't have to look at his goal on social media over and over and over again this week. Because that's what's going to happen. Look, I thought in the first half, Cav wasn't at his best, offensively or defensively for that matter. But as a young player, and our ethos is we have to teach and give him an opportunity to do better. And in the second half, he did better on both sides of the ball. Defensively, he was getting to the man we wanted him to, and he was making the running through the half channel that we asked him to make in the first half that we weren't getting. We started doing it in the second half. And so the goal was a result of exactly what we wanted Kevin to do, and that's his development now as well. When you're a young, talented player, I think you can do things off the cuff that are special and hard for within your own age group to. It's easier in your own age group to pull those kind of things off. Now he's playing against a 30-year-old goalkeeper and a 27-year-old man, right? And so he needs to understand that sometimes less is more, and he can do more with doing less. And so it's an off-the-ball run that creates a scoring opportunity, and that's what I love to see, and that's the development side. So if he can now take his game to the next level where he's a better defender against the ball, and he can make these little runs through lines, he's going to find himself getting on the end of more scoring chances versus having to always create.
And that's really true. I think we'll get to it, but we wanted to share that. I mean, I think that's really good. I mean, first half we're kind of like, okay, it's kind of been a little quiet. And then second half before it got subbed off, that a good 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's definitely encouraging to see Kevin doing well. And I think he's definitely progressing, but there's been a lot of people saying, oh, get Kevin up to the first team. And let's all remember he's 14.
Let's all remember that.
Of course, there was some chatter about, oh, we had heard rumblings that he might be,
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto and everything. But, again, Kevin's doing great. And I was so glad to see him get that goal. So it was a nice goal.
It was a very nice goal. And, I thought, like I said, last 10, 15 minutes before he got subbed out in that game, he looked a lot more energized, a lot more like he knew where his assignments are. And Ireland kind of talks about that there. So also, guests on our podcast, we had Frankie Westfield, just signed an MLS Next Pro contract. So we did speak with Frankie. He came in. He had a great game, actually.
Oh yeah, he assisted on Kevin's goal.
Yeah, he went from left back to center back. So we talked to him about that. He's like, it's kind of hard, but having played it, I understood the roles and all that.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, there's been so much talk about Kevin and everything, but honestly, I think seeing the growth, and I know Marlon talked about this he was recently interviewed on the Dupe podcast with Sage Hurley this past Friday. And so it was really good conversation there. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's a good conversation.
Yeah, great conversation. And, he said basically Frankie is Frankie's like personifies what the club, they want that to be about and everything, and that he just bleeds blue and gold and he's a scrappy player and all this. And so actually at the press conference on Friday too, I asked Jim about with Nate Harriel and Jack McGlynn being gone, and there's much less depth, if really there's not much behind Kai at this point. So if something happens, if Kai or Bizo get injured, really what's the plan for depth there? And I mentioned, could it be like Frankie Westfield or, whoever, Union 2 player, anyone. So, and of course his answer was more like, well, we'll move these players around.
Yeah, it was let's move Leon back there. Yeah. And okay, Leon and Pinch is serviceable, but he's not the best at where he is. Oh, and then he was talking about Nate Harriel. Oh, we can move. We could do wing back, which you can do a wing back, but let's move Bedoya or Sullivan back there. Okay, again, both offensive. Well, Sullivan's more offensive, less defensive, and let's be honest, Allie doesn't have the legs like he used
Yeah.
to. I mean, they're in a tough spot there.
Yeah, I'm not saying Frankie's necessarily ready for the
Right.
first team, but it has been cool to see his development. And it's now that he has signed with Union 2, it's going to be cool to see where he goes from there. But
Right.
we asked him about that decision and about not going to Penn State and playing, getting
Yeah,
signed that
so
contract. Let's play that.
let's play that. So yeah, we were just curious because there's a lot of questions. He had said on our podcast that he was going to Penn State
He was maybe going to play there a year and then
and
come
come
back.
back. So we got the opportunity to talk to him about that.
So, since last time we talked with you, you've signed now an MLS Next Pro contract. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was that process like? And then talking with Penn State, just going through that, because we talked, your plan was go to college, come back, try to get that. So what changed?
So I guess, they offered a contract and, obviously I was going to take it. It's what I said, like, it's everything I wanted when I was little. But the process was tough. Telling Penn State that I won't be coming anymore, it was tough. Pretty hard, but, sometimes you gotta make some people sad a little bit to follow your dreams. But I mean, now that's all over, I'm happy. I'm excited to start training with the first team more and playing more games with the second team. I'm excited to stay as well, so I'm happy.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision, but I mean, having this chance to sign a pro contract and play at your club that you've been at, that you've come up through with, I don't blame him at all.
No, and honestly, follow-up question later was, hey, on that topic, who made decision, he relied on his family, obviously, to make that call. So I think it was a family decision. They're happy with it. And we wish him nothing but the best. And congratulations again, Frankie, because I mean, it's a really cool opportunity. And let's see how he grows and develop. Will he ever become a first team player? I mean, the kid's got heart. I will give him that. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I do love it. I wish him nothing best. I'd love to see him up there.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able in the mix zone one day saying, hey man, how far have we come?
Yeah.
Like that'd be a cool moment. But
Yeah, and that's like
so we're rooting for him.
Yeah, and for me, like as in swimming as a developmental coach,
Right.
I love seeing the journey and seeing these kids that, hey, I remember where they started and appreciate, the hard work they put in to get up to where they are. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I appreciate seeing the journey and yeah, wishing all the best. And I do hope he gets to that point eventually where he can get up with the first team. And, I know he said in the podcast with us, he has aspirations for Europe someday. I mean, as they all do,
Yeah.
really.
I mean,
So
that's the high bar right
oh,
now.
absolutely. So, I mean, hopefully things keep going well.
Yeah, so we're gonna skip the next thing. We're gonna come back to it.
Right.
But yeah, let's dive into.
Let's just get to the Toronto game.
Let's get to the Toronto game because the other topic, we won't discuss it right now, but we will get to it. So again, your question to Jim, we get the lineup. It's good to see you back. It's good to see, you had posted earlier in the day was Jose Martinez going to be back. You posted that.
Yeah, that blew up.
Yeah, like that stoked the fire, even though you weren't stoking fire. Just like, hey, he's somewhere, which we found out later that, he's making his way home. He'll be in town.
Yeah, it's just I posted on Twitter. Shows on Jose's Instagram. Doesn't look like he's going to be going to Toronto. So just adding to the speculation. Oh, he sold. No. And,
we don't know that.
We don't know. No. But
No.
we just heard rumors of that. There was interest in him because he played so well in Copa America, and props to Jose. I hope that continues when he does play with the Union again, because we sorely need that. But there's a whole thing there. So yeah, so no Jose Martinez, but I heard he should be back for Monday training and everything.
And it sounds like from what Jim says that Andre's going to be rejoining the group, but
Andre could be back for Wednesday.
He
We'll
could
see.
be.
And Kevin could.
Well, we'll get to that. Let's pump the brakes on that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
We're going to end on a high note.
Yeah.
For some people anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought now, the reason, probably no recap article, we were at my sister's 30th birthday party. So we were kind of watching it on our phone, but also
first half,
trying to be social with everybody. So we're kind of like, hey, look at this. And then found out that her friend's husband and her friend, who she grew up with right down the street, are also live in Philly now. They're Union fans. So again, some people that are like, hey, if we got tickets, you want to go? So
Yeah.
that was a nice little conversation. Then we all started watching the game as this game.
We got to celebrate Ty's goal out
Yes,
there at the
we did
restaurant.
we did actually.
Yeah, tie to tie. What a goal.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I thought in the first 45 minutes, the Union looked like the better team. 100,
Absolutely.
100%. That looks like a team that's a playoff team. Okay. That is not the argument we're going to go with here. Again, this is becoming, like I said earlier in the episode, we're 2/3 of the way through.
They cannot finish games.
We get home, we're watching the game, and around 60th minute, a couple of us start talking, going, they gassed, and you could see it. They didn't have the energy. They weren't just, defensively, they started making some mistakes. And what happens when you're tired? You start making mistakes that you normally don't make when you're fresh.
And a friend of ours is like, I feel them conceding soon.
We
Said
all
friend also said before that Jack Elliott was having a really good game.
Yeah, let's not talk about
We're
that.
not gonna
Fred.
talk.
Yeah, no. But anyway, but he's right. Jack Elliott was
He woke up until that
him
own goal.
thought Jesus Bueno was having a great game.
It was great to see Choo Choo back.
And then he gets injured. So are you saying fatigue? We saw some people saying Ua looked awful. Some people say he looked fine. I think he
Maybe a
was
little
rusty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 4 games. He hasn't played since Cincinnati, so
He was okay.
I mean, he was okay. He was fair. He was fine. I mean, he has that 1v1 that, yeah, you could say he could chip and beat Sean Johnson.
Yeah.
And he had that play towards the end of the game.
Come on, Ua versus Sean Johnson last year.
Yeah. Anyway,
we'll never forget that.
We won't forget that.
In the party jerseys in the rain.
That was a good night.
Yes.
Anyway,
we digress.
Anyway, we do digress because there was some quotes by me that river end that will not be repeated. Not against anybody, but it was just like excitement. But having said all that, okay, it was fine. Again, we need another striker. I really don't think Chris Donovan's the answer at this point.
No offense, Chris Donovan.
I love Chris, but at the same time, can we get away from Quinn Sullivan? Quinn Sullivan is not a striker.
He is not a striker.
Jim is trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. It's not working. Like, yes, Quinn is he's a jack of all trades, a master of none. Let's find a spot that he's good at. And
Quinn can't finish. He just, he'll get up there and then he dicks around the ball and can't do.
Which I asked him earlier in the season during Leagues Cup, and he kind of thought, I think he thought at first, and I think we played on the podcast, he thought I was attacking him, and I'm just like, no, are you working on this skill? And then he realized that I was saying, oh, you work on the skill. And he's like, oh, yeah, I work on it every day. Well, my question to you, Quinn, is this, with all respect. It's kind of the same thing. So is that your game? And if so, do you need to go to the shuttler position or do we need to go to wings? I don't know, because when Quinn puts a good ball in, it's a chef's kiss. But he doesn't. But he dicks around and tries to get in, and I get where he's trying to do. But at the same time, just bring the ball in the net.
Yeah, and I think I had to put a couple of things in the swear jar today. My bad.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's just like I feel bad because Quinn's a great player. I mean, he's working hard. He works his butt off. He's trying so hard in the game. And the problem is he's playing out of position so much, and that's been to his detriment a bit, I think. I think if he were getting to play more in the position he's best at, his stats and everything would be better, and he'd probably get more favorable looks maybe. But also he's stepping into where the team needs him to be because of just where they're at and with the players. And so I get that. But yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, he's improved.
Absolutely.
I will say he's having a good season. There's a reason why he's not on the Olympic team. We're starting to see that. However, he's still having a good season. You asked Allie about that. Allie just kept saying, put your head down, keep improving. And we hope he does. I think he's going to be continues, if he can get to that point where, and I know a lot of us are listening, do you think he can get to that point? If he can get to that point where maybe he's not playing with the ball, get the ball into the box a little bit more, he's going to be very, very successful. So, having said that, second half comes in, we bring in him, we bring in Bedoya. Toronto counters with Kurt and Insigne, so you bring an $18 million person off the bench.
Yeah, like just the comparison there, who we bring in, and they bring in Insigne. It's like,
okay. And Insigne rifles a shot right away that we're like, yeah, no one in the world's saving that. And you realize why he was one of the Italian captain at one point. Having said all that, we go back to the collapse again.
The usual. We're getting kind of used to this, which is unfortunate.
They're just gas. There's no center back. There's no Bizo Harriel, where you could bring in like a Harriel here to close out the game. When back in the day you had that.
We don't even have like Matt Real to bring in or anything. We have like no depth.
Yeah, there's no one to bring in to just say, okay, let's get defensive here, try to close out. You don't have like a defensive center back to say, man, Jack's starting to look gas, bring somebody else in.
Yeah, and clearly Jim's not ready to bring in Macania. He was on the bench.
No, I mean, and that's the other thing. You can't bring these players in, and people are like, well, why isn't they playing? Because Jim doesn't trust them.
Yeah, and we have just totally misused this U22 spot. And Macania's done a really nice job in Union 2.
But that's not what that spot's for.
But no, I mean, it's just he's not getting any chances. At this point, though, would you like to see him get a chance with the first team?
I mean,
at this point, why not? Why not? Put him in a back three. Put him in a back three. Have him back there with like Elliott and Lowe or something. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but again, if Jim doesn't think he's ready, I'm not gonna.
I trust Jim's judgment on that because he's the one who sees him at practice day in and day out.
But I mean, you can see 2 goals late. We saw them both come into one. Just Bizo gets caught ball watching, then all heck breaks loose. Kurt puts it back in net, and in the second goal, Jack goes from having a great game to just being a catastrophe. And again,
defense got cooked.
You feel for him, but at the same time, it's like, man, you got to do better, and that's the problem. It's just. And we'll bring this up. Todd and I are talking about this today. You were upstairs, probably like rolling your eyes because we're having this whole discussion this morning. But it's a valid point. Union from winning positions. Yeah. Winning positions, that means they've had a lead in this game. Have dropped 21 points this year. How many points is that? And they've had 7 points dropped from 75th minute on now. That's based off some weird math that I'm not going to get into. But what I'm saying is 5 drop points, 75 drop games. There were 5 games where they dropped points from 75th minute on, and most of them have been the second later half of the season. So tell me, and I know there was a question about mental fatigue, and Jim said maybe, but again, he kept iterating.
Yeah.
These guys need to do better. They need to grind. He brought up they're too fragile. Okay, yeah, I could see maybe they're too fragile. I see people now, and maybe you're listening and you're saying, well, this team's too soft. They're quitting on each other. I don't think they're quitting necessarily. I think they're exhausted. I think it's been all these years, not enough rotation, not enough pieces coming in, where the reality situation is we need to see more of these maybe younger kids starting to get a little bit of opportunity. But we also need to see some more players coming in that have maybe fringe starter potential, or maybe starter potential that you can rotate back and forth, keep players fresh. And it's not just us saying this. This is multiple podcasts, which we know you listen to, that are saying this. So what's the divide here? I don't know. But maybe it's poor scouting. Maybe it's a couple other things. Maybe some of these players just haven't developed to the rate that we do. We've talked about all this stuff. And again, we're starting to sound like a broken record. It's the reality of the situation right now. So how do we get better?
How much do you think is because of Andre not being there?
Well, Jim said it. I mean, yeah. I mean, Andre maybe saves a goal or two.
I think Andre definitely masks some of the defensive problems
Well, I
because
think
he makes some good saves. I also think he's a good leader back there and he communicates. I think I saw definitely Andrew Rick doing a better job of the communication maybe than Zemla.
Right.
Um, but Andre just has that awareness. And you always, see Andre yelling out things to defense
Right.
and just the players in positioning and all that. So I think that's been sorely missed. Just the experience. There's a reason why he's the captain of the Jamaican team.
Correct.
He does bring that leadership. And I, for one, will be so relieved when Andre comes back. Just that little bit of hope. I mean, Andrew Rick and Oliver Zemel both got kind of thrown into the fire there, and they clearly have some things to do still. I think Rick has stepped up and done an admirable job considering he's like 18
Mhm.
and all that, but I mean, he's still got a lot to learn too. So I think for me, it will at least be a little reassuring to have Andre back. Is it going to save our season? Probably not.
Right.
But I certainly, if he is healthy, be very, very happy to have Andre back.
Right. So let's wrap this, put a bow on this game. Again, Union now 10 games, no wins, longest stretch in franchise history.
I was thinking about the fact that the last time the Union won, I still had a few weeks of the school year left.
It's
And here we are halfway through summer break.
Yeah. Yeah. So not good, but some Kevin news. We had heard
Yeah, we had
that-
heard some rumors that
let's
Cabin,
not get into that,
but
but
okay.
well,
We had heard from, we had kind of heard some rumblings that, oh, maybe Cavan will make the trip to Toronto. Maybe he'll do that. And he wasn't there, obviously, but everyone speculates like every game at this point now, oh, is Cavan gonna get in there?
right.
Well, last night on the broadcast, the commentators mentioned that Cavan was going to make the trip, but then there's the Canadian child labor laws getting
Right.
in the way, and so all that. And so I was going to actually ask that on the post game presser, but they were really limited for time. So but thank you to Jose Nunez for asking.
Yes.
Since you got to ask a question, and asked Jim about, was Cavan going to go, basically. And Jim said, yeah, they were gonna have him come along at least for the experience, maybe, not necessarily play, but just come for the experience. But then, yeah, there was a whole lot of headaches with all the paperwork and labor laws and all this and that. So ended up not working out. But could we see him on Wednesday against Revs? Quite possibly.
We could.
But people, let me say this again. He's 14. Okay. And at this point, some people are like, well, if Cavan gets in, it's them trying to distract from all the issues at hand, because everything's been so negative. But, would it be cool to see Cavan come off the bench and play like a couple minutes or something
Sure.
to, get that record or whatever? Sure. Why not? You know what?
At this point, what are you gonna do? Because I'm getting ready for all the Union emails to our inbox about Cavan this, Cavan that, Cavan.
Yeah.
And that and the sweet deals. I'm sure ticket
Yes.
will also.
Let us just go sign up for those suites right now.
Yes, those $4,000 suites that everybody has money for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah, that's not good.
they're not reading the room.
They are not reading the room
No.
because it's $200 a ticket.
And as our friend Jose Nunez posted on Twitter, though, I think, yeah, it was Jose posted the Star Wars thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine the vibe on Rainy Street if Cavan Sullivan gets in, and then if the Union win on Wednesday. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, we'll
Hey,
see.
anything to break the curse. Okay. I mean,
There will be partying in the streets. There will be dancing in the streets.
dancing in the street. Yeah.
For all you 80s people out there, you know what song we're talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the end of that. So we actually today asked some questions to fans.
Yes, we did.
We actually got some. Thank
did.
you to all those that responded. First one was, we'll take a couple minutes here to wrap up. Mike asked who who might have some remaining value that we could sell to make room for new players? Well, Todd, Jose, and Mike talked about that on the post game
Yeah.
last night. Obviously, the first come to mind, you probably get something for Kai.
Yeah.
You could probably get something for Baribo because people like strikers, and he's still young.
Yeah.
You probably could get something for a guy like Martinez.
Yeah. I
obviously.
mean, he's gotten a lot of notice from his
You
play
might
at
even
Copa.
get something for Flock if you want to do kind of what you did with Carranza, because he's going to be gone unless he signs a new deal. Another person I think you could get something for if you really wanted to push it. And I'm not saying Europe or South America, but you could get probably some money for him. Is Andre Blake.
Yeah.
As a Canadian keeper, somebody in MLS wants to fire up Big Gam. They need a keeper. They think they have an MLS winning team. Would I hate to see that? Absolutely, as a fan. But you can see that. Do I think Andre would leave here? No, I think he's happy in Philadelphia.
Did you say Canadian keeper?
Jamaican.
You said Canadian, I swear. Anyway, Jamaican.
I thought I said Jamaican. Anyway,
it's okay.
But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
Is that
how much would people riot if Andre got sold?
I mean, that remains to be seen. I mean, Crystal Palace one day I know made an offer for him. But again, Laws, he couldn't go on. He would have been gone by now if he
Yeah.
would. But there are some players you could get rid of that still have value. Maybe even, I don't know, Gazdag probably wouldn't have much value right now because they're in their older years.
Yeah.
Elliott. But yeah, those are my players. Anybody for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jack McGlynn and Nate Harrell are gonna have some looks, especially depending on how they do at the Olympics. But yeah, I think you pretty much covered it.
So the second question is from Michael. Michael asks, does the silent protest get reset to 1 minute since there was a tie against Red Bull? That is a good question, Michael. I do not know that. Anybody, we have some friends and people that maybe have some more connections to the Sons of Ben.
Like, we're in Sons of Ben, obviously,
but
we don't decide that stuff.
We don't decide that stuff, but that's good. Good question. I will say this, and that's why I wanted to talk about this other subject now. How do you feel about the questionnaire? Because Sons of Ben have been under some fire this week. Shout out to Rush Joy for his podcast. That was an hour long about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he brought up a lot of good points. Now, I will say this, and we said this on our podcast. What's your plan? You got the meeting now with the ownership. Credit to them for actually putting out a questionnaire to all the members and saying, hey, we want to hear from you. We're not just going to go and do our narrative.
I appreciate that, but you should have done this first.
Thank you. And then we hear, oh, I've seen some comments on a couple of the questions that people have shared. Like, I forget the one, there was one where it was like, oh, this was actually written out a couple months ago. Okay, so this was, some of these questions had come to light a couple weeks, maybe a month ago. It's like, okay, why was this not discussed sooner? Like, there's just a lot of, how should I say this? Just, I wish it was more organized. And again, I get it. Like, the season hasn't been easy for anybody.
You can't please everyone, and I get it.
Exactly. It's the old adage. You give $100 to somebody and they still aren't going to be pleased
But
with you.
I think opening it up to feedback from the membership should have been done before the protest happened. At least to get some feedback, because
there are a lot of people that are upset about this.
Yeah.
And I get that.
And I gave my thoughts last time, and we heard a lot of thoughts.
We're not going to go into it because it's well intentioned.
Yeah.
And I get that it was well intentioned, but it doesn't have a good look. At least they're trying to make it right. We'll see what happens. Meeting apparently is on Tuesday.
Yep.
Sure, there'll be people asking for updates all day on Tuesday. Hopefully, Sons of Ben do the right thing. I'm going to say this, do the right thing. Make the means known. If you want Jillian to attend, I know Jose's also put his name out there. Get one of them to come attend.
Yeah.
I will cover morning practice.
Yeah.
I mean, but in all seriousness, like, get like somebody like Jose. somebody that doesn't have any. I mean, Todd's not even part
He's not in Sun's bed anymore.
So get him out there.
But,
Get people out
I mean,
there.
I'm media and I'm in Sons of Ben. I would happily be a part of it, but
Let's get somebody independent. Let's
Yeah.
get somebody independent that actually understands the fans.
Yeah.
And you know where I'm going with that.
yes,
one.
yes.
I'm talking about Inky. So, so anyway,
Right?
moving on.
Man. They catching all the strays this week.
Woo!
Hell
Hey, Jill, did you check their box score behind the paywall?
no.
Anyway.
Swear jar again, sorry.
Dan Herman, can't we all just get along? Yes, Dan.
Why can't we be friends?
I think losing social media divides everybody. That's my 2 cents.
Can we talk about just social media yesterday was a
Woo!
nightmare. I mean, a lot happened while we were out at dinner last night too, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't going political, but I think we all know what happened Saturday
Yeah.
evening. So there was that.
Yeah,
and
like,
game and just all this-
I just think winning masks a lot of things, and you're now seeing a lot of people having a lot of different opinions about a lot of different things. And at the end of the day, rather than having rhetoric and discourse and actually having discussion, whether you agree with it or not, I feel like they just resort to attacking.
Yeah, I would appreciate, people taking a logical, civil approach to things, but unfortunately, that's not going to always happen.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then
Some people are getting so like, for lack of a better term, butthurt.
some people are going off the deep end. And that's my
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, last question. Niche Nurse, what the fuck is happening with this team?
Swear jar.
Yes, but it's true.
But what is happening with this team? Yeah.
I
great
think
question.
it's just well. Let me
okay.
ask you this.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Let me start rattling off this thing. The team got figured out with formation. The league got better.
Yeah.
A lot of teams adapted. The union did not. The union did not sign players
that can make impactful first team starts.
Right. And I mean, gosh, just go out and get like a veteran or something. Like,
but who's out there?
See, they could have used like a Kai Kamara type or something. I don't know.
What's Kai?
No, not Kai himself. Not Kai Kamara himself, but I'm just saying like someone who's at least could bring that knowledge.
I mean, at this point, I would take a flyer on Kai.
Just whatever. So yeah, I think there's a lot of that. I also think that with the success that the union have had the last couple of years, and they're brought in a lot of new fans, and so expectations are very high. And you have to understand, if you've been a sports fan of a particular team for a while, most likely you have experienced the highs and the lows. Okay, if you've been a Phillies fan your whole life, like me, you've experienced a lot. Okay, I mean,
do you want to talk about
let's talk about the 2010s, like after their good run up through like about 2012 or so, and then they tanked for a few years.
Let's talk about 2010.
No, we're not talking about that year. I'm sorry. Stinking Giants fan. Anyway, but the thing is, I stuck with the Phillies. I kept cheering them on. Was I critical of them? Yeah. But I kept watching them. I kept going to games. I kept supporting them and everything. And here's the thing, like, I love my team. I'm not giving up on my team, but you better believe I'm going to be holding them accountable and everything too. Just like I hold you accountable as my husband, I mean, I love you and whatnot, and I'm critical of you. Yeah, I keep you in check. But at the end of the day, I still love you.
I have my hand raised.
Yes. Don't talk about the Giants, though.
No,
okay.
Talk about the Timberwolves. Let's
okay.
Hey,
yes, you are a Timberwolves fan, so you're used to disappointment.
Yes, I'm used to hardships and sadness.
Yeah, I mean.
So anyway,
people, listen. And if you've been a Flyers fan, if you've been an Eagles fan, like, yes, we reached the pinnacle in 2017 to 18 and everything, and that was amazing. And then but you get the disappointment too. Okay.
But let me finish.
And let me finish. This season has been a disappointment. Absolutely. But these people are like, oh, I'm not renewing my season tickets. I mean, that's your choice.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do and you want to spend your money on that, fine. But I'm just putting out there, like, I'm still supporting my team. I just know Yeah, sometimes you got to get through the hard times and you regroup and you rebuild and you eventually can maybe hit that pinnacle. But it just comes with the territory of being a fan.
It really
And
does.
you
I
shouldn't
mean,
ruin friendships over it either.
yeah, that's the other thing I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Look,
But yeah, go ahead.
Jillian will tell you this. I'm a Dolphins fan. We all know that. All right. Also, Alejandro Bedoya mentioned that he's a Dolphins
Yeah.
fan.
Well, yes.
He's
he
a
is.
Dolphins fan.
Yeah,
So if
we
you
knew
want to
that.
call him out, you can.
Not everyone can be perfect.
Let's talk about the fact that I bring this up to select group of friends. Dolphins Twitter.
You think social media for the Eagles is bad? Just try the Dolphins.
Woo! Yeah,
Psycho.
they are
nuts.
psycho. It is psycho. I've been on some spaces with people having rational conversations, and people go off hard. We told the story about the guy that went to the other guy's house, drove 100 miles, and beat the guy up. Somebody tried to set another guy's house on fire because of Twitter Spaces. These are things that happen. So hopefully that never happens in Union social media. That'd be horrific.
I think it, of course, but no, they're gonna come back to snowballs at Santa for the Eagles fans.
Well,
but Dolphins fans are.
Yeah, it's
No
not
way.
always been easy being a Dolphins fans. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, we're all human. We should treat each other with respect. And
Yeah.
also at the same time, talking to a lot of friends that have been day oneers.
Yeah.
Some of the bad years were the best years.
They had a lot of fun at least.
They had a lot of fun. You didn't have any expectations. And maybe it's just back to being friends and family and thinking about those good times. And having just those good times, you get to go out. Maybe the team's not great right now. You can still have a good time. It's up to you to be sitting there saying, I don't want to live in this. Yes, that doesn't mean we're just going to sit there and be apathetic. No, still have demands, still have high levels of success. But remember, we can't control as fans what happens out there. It's
You
the
can
same
only
thing.
control your response.
It's the same thing as a coaches. We can't control. We can give everybody their tools. It's up to the athletes to perform. It's up to these people. They're human too. And if they're not giving 100%, get them out of town. But if they're giving 100% and they're still falling short, is what it is. We still need to support them. Doesn't mean we can't be critical.
Exactly.
That's where I'm leaving that.
Yeah.
So there's your
Like a
response.
marriage.
100%. So let's wrap this show up. Union back this week. Wednesday night could be a big night.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We'll be there. And maybe Kevin plays, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? We'll find out soon. And then back at Nashville, we will not be there on Saturday. We'll be away.
Congrats to my cousin Mary and her fiance Jalen. They're getting married. So
Congratulations.
yeah,
So we'll be following, but we won't be at the game.
Yeah.
Friday, Union 2.
Union 2 play away on Friday. They're at NYCFC 2. They play up in New York. Oh, I forget what.
It's up by like Queens or Long Island.
Yeah, it's kind of far because I thought, that would be good.
We're thinking about it. I still am thinking about it. That'd be a fun time.
It's like an 8:30 game. It's kind of late. We might get back early, but yeah, the thought's still there because we're free that evening. So
we'll see.
maybe.
But anyway, regardless, hope you enjoy the show. Please comment. We got a lot of stuff coming out on the One Team We Agree On right now.
Yeah, check out the website because we have like fan interviews from the Red Bull game. Put that up on the website.
Yeah, and shout out to our friends Jose and Todd. You guys, they got a great article coming out. We're not going to give it away.
No spoilers, but yeah, follow what
you're
they're
gonna
doing.
love it. You're gonna love it. Make sure you follow their Substacks. I've like I told Todd today, we're gonna promote this and make sure it gets seen because it's a great article from what we're seeing from them. So anyway, make sure to be on the lookout for that too. And for that's all for this episode, the One Team We Agree On.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, follow us on our various social medias, and find us on wherever you find your podcasts, and get the word out there too. Sure, if you like it, if you enjoy it, share with your friends. And
we're still not on Threads.
I didn't say anything about Threads.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we are not on Threads. I'm on enough social media.
I know that's a problem.
So but yeah, follow, subscribe, comment. We love hearing from you, and we love your ideas and input. So definitely love to hear from you.
And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
We'll see you at the game.